This podcast contains explicit adult content, mature themes, and candid conversations about sex, dominance, power exchange, and ethical non-monogamy. It is intended for audiences 18 and over only. Listener discretion is advised. The views expressed by our guests are theirs alone and do not necessarily reflect the views or values of the hosts, producers, or affiliated brands. The Bull Brotherhood Podcast is for educational, entertainment, and empowerment purposes only. Nothing in this podcast should be interpreted as legal advice, medical guidance, or psychological counseling. We speak from experience, not credentials. Always practice consent, respect the boundaries of others, and follow local laws. If you're not comfortable with frank talk about sex, kink, dominance, or emotional power, this probably isn't the show for you. But if you're ready to step into your masculine edge and embrace a lifestyle that demands mastery, welcome to the Brotherhood.
Welcome to the Bull Brotherhood Podcast, where we talk power, pleasure, and the art of dominance in ethical non-monogamy. This is not your average lifestyle podcast. This is for men who lead, men who master, and men who leave a lasting impression. If you're here, you're not just curious. You're ready to elevate. So to all the bulls, hot wives, stags, and open-minded explorers, we see you. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to another episode of the Bull Brotherhood Podcast. I'm 1/3 of your host team, Mr. Brian Morgan, aka the Sigma Male, with the Alpha Presence. And I have the pleasure this evening of podcasting with my other two hosts, and they are a married couple, as you know. They are the lovely Siren and, of course, Mr. Socrates himself. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk to you tonight about different topics such as kink, other well-deserved topics in the hot wifing lifestyle. But to give you just an example of what the Bull Brotherhood is all about, our mission statement is to bring quality men together, and through teaching and mentoring, giving them the ability to come into a relationship and take sexual mastery over another man's wife, i.e. his hot wife, at their invitation. And what we're doing, Bulls, we're changing lives one stroke at a time. And here are my two podcast partners in crime, Socrates and Siren. How's everybody doing tonight?
We're doing good, Mr. Morgan.
What's good? What's good, Unc? What's good?
Hey, man. Pleasure to be here, baby. Pleasure to be here with my family.
Yes. So we're going to finish our episode. This is our pilot episode, and this is going to be 2.0. So we're just finishing the conversation. We had a great conversation. And what we're talking about is our perspective on the lifestyle. The last thing we talked about, was swingers and how they feel about jealousy and all those things. So the next thing we're going to talk about from our perspective is kink. Kink is really a separate distinction, but we're going to have Mr. Morgan tell us what, his perspective on kink from the Bulls.
Well, first of all, family, let's bring in the definition of what kink really means to us. And kink is like any sexual practice that is, say, unconventional, okay, or any taste or behavior that's unconventional. People think of kink like being something sort of like BDSM, which is bondage, dominance, sadism, masochism. But kink actually goes beyond just that. We have, just like I said, your regular vanilla sex, which is, husband and wife, i.e. making love, et cetera, et cetera. But it goes so much past that, because like if, let's say, if vanilla is like your most popular flavor of ice cream, it doesn't mean that it's the only type of ice cream that's good. You can try other things. And that's what kink is. Okay. That's what I believe it is in this lifestyle. And let's talk about, let's say, how you develop your kinks. And I'm going to ask the question to my family. How do you guys develop your kinks?
Well, when someone asks me what my kink is, I've always struggled with that for a while. And I kind of define it just as something, like you said, above and beyond that turns me on. And I really haven't come up with too much. But I do know that when a man is loud during sex, I guess I would
Mm-hmm.
consider that a kink for me, because that really gets me going. And then if he's about to come and he starts hollering, then like I'm squirting all over that dick for sure. So I guess that is a kink for me. I don't know. Like I guess I need more context, and I need more ideas. I need a multiple choice quiz, Mr. Morgan.
Okay, well let me ask both
Yeah.
of you. Let me ask both of you this question. All right. What are your, and I'll start with Socrates. What types of kinks?
I'm a nerd, so I had to turn to ChatGPT. But before I give that, I have one thing I say all the time is feedback is my kink. And I don't really know if that applies, but I do shibari, which is, for those who don't know, shibari is a Japanese style of rope play that has a lot more to do with the time you put into it and the attention you put into it and the aesthetic of the rope. So you're not just tying somebody up. You're actually tying them up in a way that makes them aesthetically pleasing, and there's also suspension into it. So I know that shibari falls under the kink umbrella. So what I'll do is I'll read it. So from ChatGPT, sexual content is a non-traditional or unconventional sexual preference, interest, or behavior that falls outside of what's considered vanilla or mainstream. This can include specific fetishes, power dynamics such as BDSM, or role playing. So when it comes to the power dynamics, I would say the power exchange between the bull, cuck, and cuckoldress is a kink. And I would say
Absolutely.
the power dynamics of what's called a rigger. I'm gonna be really careful about that word, RIGGER, which is somebody who does
somebody who does the
rope play and suspension, the rope bunny, which is also not political or anything like that. We're not talking about skin color, but a rope bunny is someone who's a submissive who likes to be restrained with rope. So those are my kinks. I enjoy shibari, even though I don't do it a lot. It's a lot of energy and time. I enjoy the power exchange that happens between bulls, cucks, and cuckoldresses. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's where I come.
That kind of gave me more idea of what my kink is then. I guess I haven't had a lot of opportunity to explore it too much, but I just always had this idea that I wanted to dominate a man, but I don't tend to want to do that. Like I never want to dominate my husband. I want to be dominated. And most of the time I want to be dominated by my play partner in the scene. This last year we played with a cuck couple, and I did what's called cuck sitting, where I dominated the cuck with the wife's permission.
While the wife was playing. Yeah.
Well, they tried, but that's another story.
Yeah, we'll get into that one, that story later.
But I'd never tried it before, and I really liked it. I liked it a lot, and it's just the idea of, first of all, it's not my husband, right? I'm borrowing the power from the wife. Like, she gave me the key to his cage and everything, so it's just a borrowed power, and so that makes it fun. I know that she wants me to do it. I know that he wants it done. And the enjoyment that they got out of it, well, everyone in the room got out of it, made it a lot of fun. So
in other words, you got your dominatrix on, in other words.
Oh, yes.
Really?
They had a whole outfit, a flogger, the whole 9 yards. Yeah. So I still have, something in there that I want, and this guy wasn't like a small man as far as stature. He's pretty tall. But I do also want, and I don't know if it will be a cuck or something else, but a larger man, like 6'5", like a big burly guy. Like the guy I know I could snap me in half if he wanted to. But
football player type, bodybuilder type.
I want to dominate a guy like that. And it's not something I want to do all the time, but it's fun little break from, everything else that I do in the lifestyle.
There are many gentlemen out there who have those kinks. And believe me, I actually know a couple. I won't say any names or say what profession that they are in, but they do fit that bill, 6'2", 6'3", 250 plus, and they are very much dominant when they're out there doing their job, but they like their little kink every now and then of being dominated. And when they want to be dominated, they want to be completely submissive and told any and everything, and they're going to follow their dominatrix or whoever is dominant, usually another woman, to a T.
So if you're listening, fellas, you can look me up on Siren.
I hear you.
On a few different
That's
forms. Get
That's
in contact with me.
Let me
Send me your height, your weight.
Exactly. Well, since you guys gave me your type of kinks, I will give you mine.
Yes,
okay?
please.
Mine
I'm dying.
Mine is well. Look, everybody talks about, of course, BDSM in the kink world. I am not, other than being a dominant bull sexually and everything. I really don't dabble in the BDSM world. I don't. Not the sadism, masochism, not the bondage, etc. I do like to change up every now and then and get my voyeur on and watch my baby girl do her thing. Whether she's, having sex with a male or she becomes that dominant bisexual female that she can be and just take over, the women. So I do like the voyeurism while I am playing. If you are ticklish, I suggest you might want to tell me, because I might, if you got some pretty toes, they might go in my mouth. Okay?
I'm not ticklish on my feet. I have some other areas that you wouldn't normally think are ticklish.
Yeah.
Not feet.
Okay. And last but not least, and this is something that a lot of people, they want to try, but they necessarily haven't tried it before. But when they get with me, they can let it all hang out, because I typically bring it out of them. And it is something that it's the taboo. It's that taboo type, ancestral type play that is really popular in the porn world right now. You got your hot wife and that's popular. You got your interracial that's popular, but the taboo incest thing that, stepmom, stepson, stepdad, stepdaughter, et cetera, that's very, very popular. And I consider myself a master of that. When I get with someone, when I get with a wife and, she wants to explore that world with me, I am a master of that. So for all the hot wives listening out there and unicorns, definitely look me up for that. All right? Definitely.
Okay. Look out here. I don't have to look you up. I know right where you are. I got your actual phone number too.
Exactly.
Let me ask you this. So how would you say, as a bull, so we're in the Bull Brotherhood, right? And
exactly,
we are ones that are mastering our craft. So if a young bull is, or even an older bull, is looking to up his game and they want to listen to our podcast, what would you say you do, or what was your thought process in implementing, or what's the word I'm looking for, is how do you implement kink into your play style as a bull?
In the communication process, when I'm getting to know a couple, that first, it might not be the first initial meet, but somewhere like maybe that second or third meet, if we have not been, sexual yet, I will bring up my kinks. That is something that I always bring it up, and I will be, extremely honest with them. And, especially when it comes to the taboo, a lot of people have watched, porn before, and they have seen the world famous porn, productions of Taboo 1, 2, and 3, and they were actually turned on about it. But here again, because it is so, that topic is so taboo, they don't necessarily know of anyone who wants to practice it. But when I talk to them, and it finally does, get sexual, I bring it in, while I am, having sex with them, and it just turns them on to a T, because I am a talker when I have sex, and I've been told that I can tell some of the greatest stories and talk the most shit while I am fucking. So, and it turns me on. It turns me on tremendously to get the reaction, from the lady that I'm with. Like tremendously. I mean, I can go as long as she can take it. So that's how I introduced, the kink world, into my, you know, format and everything.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So did anybody else want to get into more details on kink before we move to the next subject?
I think we covered a good part of it, although there's a whole lot that we could keep discussing. But I think we covered, pretty much a very good, part of that.
I agree. I agree.
So I'm good. I'm good.
Yep. Siren, anything else you want to discuss about that? Okay.
No, I can't
So
think of anything.
got it. All right. So let's move on. The big one. And I think we're going to start off with Siren and me because this is what we're in. We're going to talk about Stag and Vixen. So Siren.
Oh, absolutely. This covers you guys to a T.
Exactly.
Covers you to a T.
I was actually talking to a friend of mine who we were talking about bisexual couples when the man is bisexual as well as the woman.
Yes,
I was like next to Stag Vixen, like where the man is straight like me and the woman is bi. I was like, that's the funnest one. Those guys get so much fun because they get to do things that I'm not willing to do. I'm not interested in doing, right? But it don't mean it ain't fun because it's fun. I'm like, there's all kind of options you can have when everybody's doing everything, but that's not us. So,
Sure.
Siren, talk to me about what your definition of Stag Vixen is, and how do you feel like you land on that definition?
Well, I mean, and we're a biracial Stag and Vixen, which is even more unique. We will play together, we'll play separately. Like, we pretty much do it all. We'll do a threesome with another guy where I'm the focus, or we'll do a threesome with another woman. We'll do group play. We don't do full swaps very often, just purely because of that 4-way connection that everyone talks about is challenging to come by. We're open to it, but lately I've just really been preferring to play solo with another man. Did try solo girl on girl, and then we ended up looking at each other afterwards, and I said, you want to go to my house and get some dick? And she said, yeah. So the appeal for us, both of us ladies, we did try it on our own, and we were successful. We made each other come and stuff like that. But having the man in the room is really like what does it for us energy wise.
You want meat. Just say it. You want that meat.
We do, because it's like
have it. Have it.
And we had all the toys. We had a strap on. We had everything, but we were just like,
it's still not the same as that meat.
Well, and we just have like a really good energy with this girl too. Like we've been playing with her for a while, and they've tried, one-on-one, her and Socrates playing also, and that just wasn't really the jam either. So just the three of us together, that's just something fun about that. So I think with Stag and Vixen, it's like, we kind of just do a little bit of everything. Like, everybody's coming to the table to eat dinner. It's kind of how I think of it, There's nobody that is not going to play, usually, And even if there's sometimes if we have another woman or another man where Socrates will sit and watch for a little bit, but he always is participating in some level, There's times where we have a very lovely lady, and she's actually coming over tomorrow night. I'm very excited. And at one point in the play there, I made him sit to the side, and he kept trying to creep back up, and I said, get over there. And I said our last name, so I'll just make up last name. Yeah. I said, sit over there, Smith, you might learn something, and then I just proceeded to play with her, and she basically just lay back, and then I just did what I wanted to her, and it was pretty fun. And he did enjoy that, but he doesn't just sit and watch very often, and neither do I if I'm in the room. But I just like to know what the expectations are. Like, I'm perfectly happy sitting with a cuck and cuck sitting, or whatever. I just like to know what's going on ahead of time, what the kind of the expectation for, that play experience is. Not every little thing, obviously, but am I playing or am I not playing? Am I sitting with the cuck? Am I joining in? And then that just helps me know my role in the scene. So, but a lot of times, now that I've gotten some more opportunity with travel and other things, I just like to play one-on-one with another man. So,
Quick question for you too. What are each other's thoughts when you're like watching the other one do their thing? Like, and I'm gonna start with Socrates. Like, what are your thoughts when you watch her? Yeah, when you're not participating yet or anything like that, but I mean, like when you watch her do her thing.
Well, see, that's a touchy subject between us because
Okay.
I don't. Well, we're going to talk about it. That's what the podcast.
Right. He doesn't. I would love for him to sit and watch, but he doesn't for more than 5 minutes, and then he just goes and does what he wants to do.
Yeah,
what he wants to do. Okay. Well, that's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Do you sit there? Do you sit there and watch everything, or do you?
He won't do it. I want him to. It's on my wish list. But he gets bored.
Okay.
That's her version. Let me tell you mine.
ADHD.
Let me tell you mine.
Go ahead.
So, well, the last thing she said, I get bored. That's true. So, here's the thing. I've seen some brothers that know what they're doing. I've seen some brothers that know what they're doing in a way that pleases her, but when I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, so, man. And so there's been some guys we can name, some brothers from the Pacific Northwest somewhere, and some brothers that I know from down south in LA that I know they know what they're doing. They're entertaining. They know Siren's body well. And I love watching those cats. So there's a situation where up in Canada where I was watching for a minute and I participate in everything because that brother knows what he's doing. And now here's the thing. I don't know how to say this without bragging, but a lot of cats can't handle me in the room. They can't handle me in the room, man. Like, so, we're part of the BBC community, right? Like, and so I don't know.
So, let me intervene. When you say they can't handle you in the room, do you mean they can't handle you like just being in the room, or they can't handle you when you jump in?
No,
you know what I mean? Or is you just being in the room, so your aura is giving off so much that they can't take. You know what I mean?
That's been in our own home, though.
I'm gonna make a bunch of assumptions.
We're somewhere else, but if in our own home, yes, they're nervous, especially it's their first time with me. But if you actually tried it, though, like I challenge you at the next big event that we go to like find the time and just watch with someone who knows what they're doing.
Well, invite me with somebody who knows what they're doing.
But I don't play with anybody who that doesn't know what they're doing. It's always in our own home because locally.
Yeah. So what you're talking about is Splash Mocha. And you're right. I got other things. I'm trying to get mine in too. So
sure. Yeah, it's a whole nother mindset.
Oh God, what
it's a whole
what
nother
sound
mindset.
does the eye roll emoji make right now? Because that's what I'm doing. He suffers. Don't we know, Mr. Morgan? He suffers.
No, it's not
ask
bad.
How many play dates do you have this week?
Lord, here we go.
How do you have? How many?
Ladies and gentlemen of the audience.
4 3 days.
Ladies and gentlemen of the audience, I am spoiled more than milk left in a refrigerator that's been unplugged for a week. Okay, so we're not going there. Okay, I'm spoiled. I'm spoiled. Motherfucker. Okay, but my whole thing is, I understand she wants me to watch. I understand she wants her husband, her man, the guy that takes care of her and provides for her and loves the shit out of her, to sit back and enjoy her being pleased. That's true. Should I? Yes. I'm not saying I'm right, but I am saying I do get bored. I'm not interested in half these cats not because I'm better than them or anything, but here's the thing. I am more intrigued with the way Mr. Morgan invited the last lady that I saw him bite in Atlanta, the way he supported that woman The way he got her from not wanting to get out of the car to being comfortable and playing with another brother that we know.
We're talking about the stag and vixen dynamic, right? We're not talking about that.
No, but my point is, you wanted to bring up watching. So as a stag, I enjoy you playing. That's the definition of a stag. I enjoy and love you playing. And I ask you to send videos all the time. But what I'm not interested in doing is that when we leave town, yes, I'm spoiled at town. I'm spoiled in town. But when we leave town, I'm on the clock too. Plus, this next one, we're going to be doing podcasts and business stuff. So I'm like, okay, yeah, pick out 3 or 4 cats that know what they're doing and invite me, and I'll sit down there the whole time. But she's right. I need to work on that. I need to get better at it. I'm not saying I don't need to, but
I'm asking for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I'll give you even more than that, because like with my man up in Canada, I was there the whole time. So it's like I'm just like, I look up to these cats that I call my mentors, and I've seen them play. I've seen them interact with ladies, and I'm more intrigued than what a lot of these cats are doing. I know they're pleasing you, and they're dope, and they're awesome. I'm not saying anything about these cats at all. What I'm saying is I'm just not intrigued by your interaction with them. But some guys, like the guy in Canada, I'm like, that guy is dope. That guy is dope. That guy is, his process intrigues me. That doesn't mean that they're not intriguing. That means I'm not intrigued by them. So I like watching you because you intrigue me. I like watching what you do because man, I don't know. The way you interact with people, I don't see a lot. And so I'm more like, okay, what I'm looking for is what I'm looking for. But, on this next one, we're going to definitely spend some time, and you're going to get more than 10 minutes from me. But back to what we were saying, for me, as a stag, I like watching the video more than watching them in person, because I can be at a certain mindset. I can kind of look, and when I'm watching the video, I'm watching her and not him, right?
And that's the beauty, of the different types of stags. You know what I mean?
Right.
From the ones who will sit in there and actually watch, to the ones who might be in another room and just want to, say, hey, call me so I can listen. Right. You know what I mean? There's different types. Right. There's different types. So that's the beauty of that. That's the beauty. And a lot of people just think stag means, hey, I just have to be in there watching. No, you don't. You know what I mean? You do not. I know some guys who like to wait downstairs and say, oh, okay, I'm going to be down here for about 15, 20 minutes. Then I'm going to come up and then I'm come in the room because I want to, I want to walk in and see that going on, as if to say you might be cheating on me. You know what I mean? So that's a kink. So there's different varieties of being a stag. Right. Different varieties of being a stag, just like there are, different varieties for the ladies being, a vixen. So that's the beauty of this. I mean, that's the beauty of the whole thing. So that's wonderful. Siren, do you like to watch him, or do you rather not, or what?
I don't often just watch. But if I see him, like, if we're at a big event or something and I see him, sometimes I'll just stand in the doorway because I like to watch his booty go. Like, I'm such a butt girl when it comes to guys. Like in Splash Mocha at the big playroom, like I really just want to go down the line in the big playroom and just smack all the.
You watching ass?
I would never do that, right? But in my mind, I do. I just would go down and smack all those booties that are just pumping,
Mm.
So I like to watch that. And then I'm a little snobby, but when I like to watch is when I'm attracted to the woman too. So
okay.
So it doesn't really have to do with the performance aspect, but more so when I'm attracted to her too, it's more fun for me. But when we play with a unicorn, we always have kind of like a grand finale where I sit in the affectionately we call a cuck chair, even though I don't think we've ever had a cuck in it.
No, we haven't. We haven't.
Yeah.
But I always sit in that chair at the end, and then I don't want to spoil it for anybody who's not played with us, but we have a little routine that we do where he's looking at me, I'm looking at him, and he's fucking the shit out of the unicorn, and that's really fun.
But it's actually you that he's doing this thing to her, but it's if you're looking at each other,
I'm bossing him. I'm kind of being bossy in that moment too, because I'm telling him like her harder, and and then he's telling her stuff too. So we're kind of like dominating her together, even though I'm not touching her. So I'm like,
girl, you got some dominatrix issues in you, don't you? Huh?
Oh,
I love it.
I have to be a boss in real life though, so most of the time I would just rather lay back. My new guy that I've been playing with, he makes me work too, so I'm like a little more tired.
Okay.
I will fuck back, but I don't. Sometimes I just want to be a pillow princess. But, I'm down for it all. I'm definitely not lazy when it comes to all that. So
yeah, I was gonna say she. I feel like she's the same as I am. There's certain things that she likes to watch. She has a routine, and I would love for her to have some guys that can come in, privately in our, because we host, because where we live, a lot of people can't. And I would love to have some guys that are okay with me in the room, because, man, one of the things that I love is having a threesome with my wife.
Well, they're going to be here for your birthday.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be.
For the whole weekend. We're having like 3 or 4 guys that are flying in.
The birthday is going to be pop in. The birthday is going to be.
I might be in the bed with you for like an hour nap.
Yeah.
And then one of them's staying with us. So
yeah, the birthday is going to be on. Yeah.
I don't know if it's for him or for me, but he wants all these ladies, and I was like, yeah, we'll do this reverse gangbang for your birthday and like this other stuff that you want. But I say,
and when is the birthday?
March 8th. So this might not even be it. This might not even be out, by then. I don't know. Yeah. So I've gotten some guys that I have played with to fly in. And so that way, when these 7 or 8 ladies that we have, we need some additional support team. So, and I'm not even going to be worried about myself too much that night. I'm just going to be like hosting and facilitating, because a lot of them are going to be here like Friday to Monday. One of them, I think, even a little bit longer. He's like making a work trip out of it because he works remote or something.
Wow.
So I'm gonna be like, oh, hey, going to their hotel again. I put him at all the hotels close to the house, right?
Yeah, it's my birthday, but I think she's getting all the presents.
Your present. Have a happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, that's true.
Pleasured pussy. I can't think of a rhyme to go with that. Anyways, no, you're gonna have fun. Like, he's gonna have all these ladies on him, and yeah.
So, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit more about that, the Stag and Vixen thing. That's just where we're at. Did you want to talk about more before we get into the big one, the big subject?
Yeah, I mean, we're always growing up, changing, and adding.
Stag and Vixen was strictly for you guys to talk about. Okay, strictly for you guys to talk about. Like I said, I do enjoy from time to time, certain ladies and stuff, watching them. But other than that, when I'm performing, I am in bull mode. I'm in bull mode the whole time. So Stag and Vixen is definitely for you. So I think we've covered that. Let's go ahead and hit the grand finale.
Yeah. So the grand finale is the cuckold thing. And, I feel like we need to spend most of the rest of our time on this, because it's so misunderstood. And I don't think I know, 5 people that have the same definition of it, So what would your definition of a cuck be? And I'm going to ask ChatGPT, but we'll go through all of us first.
Well, I mean, if you just want the simple definition of cuckold, I mean, it's a man who like finds arousement and in watching his wife or his girlfriend have sex with another man. When you hear the word cuckold, I think most people automatically think weak, like weak guy. And no, most men who love the cuckold kink, most of those guys are like successful, well off, intelligent, you know, men who just like to be at one point submissive, totally submissive. And there's nothing weak about that. If anything, I find a man who can be completely comfortable sharing his wife with other men. Hey, my hat's off to that guy. You know what I mean? I think that guy's got he knows that she's coming back to him. They've had that talk. They've had that talk that, baby, you can go and do whatever the hell you want to do when you're out there. I can watch or not be there. I can be downstairs doing this or in the room working while you're going to other rooms. But I know that you're coming, back to me. Hey, that guy's got my, I mean, he's the man to me, So the cuckold thing is just a word to me. It doesn't mean that you're weak or anything like that. But it's actually, I mean, for me, it's a positive.
I feel like it's the most powerful position in some ways because he's willingly, most of the time, giving up that power to his wife for her pleasure.
Exactly.
Most of the couples that we've talked to, it's something that he gives up and he gets off on giving her that. Especially the one that we've spent whole weekends, with several. So
yeah. And the majority of the cuckold men are usually the submissive cuckold. Even though you got other different types. You got a submissive cuckold. You have your bi, your bi cuckold. You got your cuckolds who just love the humiliation, i.e. like maybe being in chastity, cut cage and stuff like that. So you have several types, but most that I have encountered are just your typical, submissive cuckold who he sits there in the corner or listens to what I'm telling him. Hey, come over to the bed and watch me, for your wife, and maybe some humiliation here and there. So,
but
I love it though.
And it's not always. Sometimes it's just the submission in the play scene, and then in outside of that, he is more the leader of the family and the household. And then other times it's female-led relationship all the way through. So there's definitely different, because I know a couple, in the lifestyle, she's in charge, he's a cuck, the whole thing. But then outside of that, he runs the household, he runs everything else. So it's like a break, just like when I, am not having to be dominant, like I have to be in the workplace all the time.
Sure.
It's a break. I've heard a lot of them, it's relaxing for them to be submissive and to just get to enjoy. So, and, just the different levels and all the different things, sometimes with just the bull in the room, or where we've added in, where we've offered the cuck sitting, there's just like a lot of variety of things that can go on. And I think it's a really cool dynamic. It intrigues me a lot. I had, just a lot of, I don't want to say wrong ideas, just like misconceptions. Yeah, thank you. Misconceptions about it. And I was like, well, if I go and I'm cuck sitting, like, I don't want to be mean to him, But the cuck that I was sitting, he kept disobeying. So he got punished. And that felt okay to me. Okay, I'm not being mean to him. But then it grew a little bit by the end of it, because the wife started making fun of his penis size. Then I was like, oh, okay, she's doing it. She's doing it, so I can do it too, And then by the end of it, I was just like fully into humiliating him, whatever else that she allowed me. She sent me a list of like kind of do's and don'ts ahead of time, and that made me feel.
They let their level of like intimacy grow as the encounter went. You know what I'm saying? So that like gives a couple like a chance to embrace their desires. You know what I'm saying? And when they do that stuff, it makes a stronger bond between, the cook hubby and the wife. So, hey, sounds like you had a great time. You experienced all of that
And
in
taking your
one encounter.
cage off is really complicated. I kind of had something in my mind. I thought she gave me the key, right? She's like, well, if you want, he can take it
Yeah.
off, And then when I went to do it, it was like really complicated. And then she had to help me.
Yeah.
It was like the whole thing. It
She
didn't
had to
look
help
so
you.
sexy on the video because, it was like putting together Legos or something. I don't know.
Well, we're definitely going to get into that story. I'm excited about telling that story. Mr. Morgan, let me ask you a few questions because we talk about, at some point, I'll read what I have from chat and my opinion about it. But I want to ask you, Mr. Morgan, we talk about our mission statement, which one of the things is to obtain sexual mastery over another man's wife. And I think that really pertains to the bull cuckoldress dynamic. So what do you mean by taking sexual mastery over another man's wife, especially in the cuckold dynamic?
Well, it means several different things. Because I'm looking at myself when I come in, I'm being dominant. I'm taking over. I'm actually taking over everything. I'm not just taking over the wife, but I'm actually taking over him also. He has no say so. As I told you before, I'm gonna do three things when I have her. All right. The first three things, I want to claim her, train her, and then own her. But when I'm doing this, I'm also doing what? I'm respecting, protecting, and loving her. So, when I'm doing all of those things, she is going to see a side of me. She's going to see the dominant sexual side, but not only the dominant sexual side, she's going to see kind of an emotional side also. Because I told you, I want to get in between your ears. I want you to be at work and not be able to sit behind your computer or whatever the hell you're doing without thinking about Brian Morgan. All right. And as far as he's concerned, I want him at first to be able to sit there and just take direction, take heed to everything I'm saying. But as we develop our rapport and develop our, friendship and understanding, he'll be able to be like, okay, I am totally comfortable with this man coming in and taking my wife and taking her places, or she's spending the weekend with him, or like I just did over the weekend, be with a brand new couple. And hell, I told him to go downstairs and sit at the bar while, we're upstairs. I mean, we developed that rapport just that quick. So, for me, that's what sexual mastery is. It's not just the sex itself. Okay. Like I told you guys before, sex is always going to come. All right. It's going to come. And you best believe it's going to be good. But that's not everything involved in being a great bull and, sexual mastery. You have to get inside of the head, both of their heads. They have to be completely comfortable with you. They have to trust you. They have to respect you. And when that comes along, then you're able to take the couple itself. The couple pretty much is like, okay, this guy is our bull. He's our number one bull. They may play with others, but there's no one like Brian. Okay. They may be at an event. Like my one couple was down in Florida over the summer. And I guess somebody tried to talk to him, but they were like, our bull isn't here. So we can't ask him, is it okay? I mean, that made me feel good when they came back to tell me that. So that's what sexual mastery means to me, in my words.
I love it. I love it. So let me tell y'all, well, you know me, I'm going to look at a dictionary definition because it helps give me kind of like a North Star. It doesn't mean that we are stuck to these labels. Labels for us are guidelines to help us understand. They're not like boxes for us to fit in. So ChatGPT says a cuckold traditionally refers to a man whose partner, usually a wife or girlfriend, engages in sexual activity with another man, often with his knowledge. The term has evolved over time and now has different meanings depending on the context. So I totally agree with that. Historically, what it's saying is literal meaning in older alliteration In history, a cuckold was simply a man whose wife was unfaithful, often without his consent or knowledge. It carried a stigma of humiliation. And where it really comes from is that I think it was the cuckoo bird lays eggs in somebody else's nest. And there's actually a certain kind of bird that will just raise it no matter what. And so it really came about, and there's political aspects as well, but we won't get into that. So modern kink and BDSM context is consensual non-monogamy. In kink communities, a cuckold is typically a man who derives some form of psychological or sexual gratification from his partner being with other men. This can involve elements such as humiliation or degradation for those into power dynamics. And I like that part because not every single cuck wants to be humiliated, right? So like the couple
No.
that we played with who, my wife cuck sat for, she did not want me to humiliate him at all. And the only thing she does is tease him in a very respectful way about his penis size, and he loves that.
They have different levels of humiliation.
Right.
It's not just the what I call the complete degradation. You know what I'm trying to say, degrading somebody.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that harsh, to where there's a possibility that his feelings really could be hurt.
Right.
He doesn't know if we're actually role playing here or if she's really, meaning what she says.
Right.
But there are different levels of it. And I've had the pleasure of like being the one to say, harsh things. And it actually wasn't the biggest turn on for me to say things that harsh, to the person.
Right.
But the light degradation, the light humiliation and stuff like that, I can do that to a T all day, especially if somebody's caged or whatever. And let's say instead of him sitting in his cook chair, I actually bring him to the bed. I'll have him lay in the bed right there beside us. You know what I mean? So he can actually see, he can really see what is going on. So those are the several like forms of humiliation
Right.
that cuckolds like.
Right. Now, continuing on the definitions, voyeurism, which is watching or hearing about their partner's encounters. Denial of chastity is a big thing. So some cuckolds refrain from sex themselves as a part of the dynamic. Now, that's one of the things that intrigues me the most because I practice seed retention. And if you get into some of the tantric stuff and some of the spiritual or psychological aspects of seed retention, it's really powerful. And you talk to some of these cucks about the energy they have, the focus it gives you, by, restraining themselves from ejaculating is very powerful. And so one of my favorite subjects is to sit down and talk to cucks about it because I know a lot of bulls in our space, especially the ones that I've met at Splash Mocha. They'll either practice seed retention or at least try not to, in the beginning because they're like, oh, I'm out afterwards. So I really like that part. Denial of chastity, and then compersion, which is experiencing joy from their partner's pleasure. I think that is the main crux of being a cuck, is that you are actually enjoying, you seeing your wife be pleased. So Siren, I want to ask you both. Siren, do you think a cuck can be a cuck without compersion?
Not if he's a willing cuck. Because,
Right.
I've seen some interviews with cucks that are like, well, I don't really want to do this, but, So, yeah, if they're a willing cuck, then I think that they're probably the best at compersion. I should probably sit down and find out how to do better at that. Maybe a cuck can teach me something about that, but they really wouldn't be a cuck if they didn't enjoy it.
Right. Mr. Sigma Male. Oh, sorry. Were you? Yeah. Mr. Sigma Male, what do you think? Can you be a cuck without compersion?
I think, in my opinion, compersion is the holy grail of the cuckold husband in the hot wife lifestyle. And the reason I say it's the holy grail because it gives a platform for like cuckold husband to like practice devotion to his beloved hot wife. I mean, I don't know any way to, any other way to say it.
Oh, I
You know,
love that. I wrote it down.
yeah, I don't know any better way to say it. To me, it's the Holy Grail. So, I mean, so yeah, to answer the question, no, you can't. In my opinion, he is not a cuckold if he is not embracing, compersion, and vice versa.
I actually
Right?
agree. I actually agree with that. I think I love that. You just came up
Yeah.
with a whole new podcast subject, brother. The Holy Grail of cuckolding. I love it.
Yeah, because I mean, if he's doing that as a husband, then I mean, what is the hot wife doing? The hot wife is being the best version of herself.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
She's really being the best version of herself, and when the cook sees sees her energy, when she's doing what she's doing, then and they bring that together. I mean, Lord, man, that sex life is of that couple is like, it's just so unique.
Right.
I mean, it's so unique, even when they're not in that character. You know what I mean? When they're just out in public, you know what I'm saying? Though, I mean, the way they flirt with each other, the way they might tease, or if they're like one of my couples that I know who practice. I mean, they are a cuckold couple 24/7. Okay, they are 24/7. That's what he is. He's a cook all the time, and she, is that traditional hot wife that loves, black men. And I mean, they live it 24/7. And I love being around them because I've never been around a couple where they are that all the time. So it's a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, I love it. And just to finish out the definition for all of us nerds here, it does something that I didn't ask it to do, which I really like. It tells you the difference between a cuck versus hot wife versus stag vixen. And it says, a cuck dynamic often includes an element of submission or humiliation, while a hot wife dynamic, where a man enjoys his wife being with others, does not necessarily involve those aspects. The stag vixen dynamic is another variation, where the man, the stag, enjoys his partner, the vixen, being with other men, but retains a more dominant or equal role. And I completely agree with that. So we basically have gone over all the aspects of the dynamics of the lifestyle that we think are the main ones. It doesn't mean it's an exhaustive list, guys, but we did want to give you this perspective from our perspective. And in the future, what you can expect from us is that we're going to talk about everything ethical non-monogamy from our perspective. So just because we're bulls and my wife being a vixen doesn't mean that we're not going to talk about polyamory, or that we're not going to talk about, being a unicorn and have unicorns and poly couples on the show. Because for us, for example, we can say this because Michael C is all over the place with his podcast, and he'll be on ours and other podcasts that we're on. He is in a situation where he's poly, right? He has 2 women in his life, and he's also a bull, right? And so there's all kinds of ways to do it. We definitely want to emphasize that this is not about pigeonholing anybody into these definitions, and this is not about ChatGPT being the authority of it, right? So we just want to come and give you our perspectives, and with the Mr. Sigma male, as I call him, being our resident expert of over 30 years of experience. So did you guys want to talk about anything else before we get out of here?
I think we have hit
always,
pretty
but
much. Oh, ladies first. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, there's always something else to talk about. So we will save it for another time. So I assume then we're going to talk more about the cuck sitting on a different episode and get into the whole story.
I want to really dig deep into those stories. I mean, that story from the start till
because it was like a 4-month buildup.
Yeah, I mean,
of talking to them and getting to that point.
And I think too, like, one of the things that we need to emphasize on this is, like, that couple was perfect for us because, I'm new in being a bull in that sense, especially a married bull. And then, that was your first time cuck sitting, and it was just an amazing event. And we've done it one or two times after that, but it wasn't like the first time. And so some people have really bad experiences. Our experience was just like,
Man, knocked it out of the park
yeah, we knocked
first time.
and there's so many other details. So yeah, we want to get into those later. But yeah, for tonight, we just wanted to finish that up. This is part 2 of our introduction pilot episode, just to kind of let you know. Now you have a little bit of the terms. You understand where we come from in the lifestyle and our perspectives. And, we're going to start moving towards getting into more details. So stay tuned in. We're going to have a great time with this. We're going to try to get this out before the Splash Mocha event. That's going to be a really fun event, or hopefully we'll have a couple of episodes out for all of our listeners. And we will definitely be doing several podcasts on site with all of our friends that are podcasters and people that are in the lifestyle. And we get to interview and see people that we normally don't see because it's all over the country, actually all over the world. People come from Europe, South America, North America. So we're excited.
Very much so.
All right, Mr. Morgan, you want to close us out?
Yeah, I was just going to say, ladies and gentlemen, please give us your feedback. Please give us your feedback. When everything comes out, we're definitely looking for feedback from everybody out there, positive and negative. Okay, give us your thoughts. I know Socrates gave you his. What did you give him last time, Socrates? Twitter, Instagram, etc.
Yeah, I want them to email us right now. We're gonna set all these other things up, but right now you can email us at sirenmediaproductions@gmail.com. sirenmediaproductions@gmail.com. And in the subject line, make sure you put the Bull Brotherhood Podcast and then talk to us. And we will definitely get you back. And then we'll have an episode where we'll have a Ask Me Anything episode, and we will take a collection of your questions and issues and concerns, and we'll address those, specifically. So we're looking forward to hearing from you guys.
Exactly. And as I always close, excuse me here again, I can't talk again, but as I always close, to my bull brothers out there, good night. And to my beautiful hot wives and unicorn ladies out there, good morning. Again, I am B. Morgan, aka the Sigma Male, signing off with the beautiful Siren and my nephew Socrates. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful evening. Good night.
Oh yeah, claim the mind, train the body on the soul. Deep connections built on trust. Let's all go from conversations to the passion that we hold. This brotherhood's for men whose stories need to be told. This brotherhood's for men whose stories need to be told. Say it loud. This is who we are, bold, confident, and seductive, dominant and classy. We stand tall, never fall. Bull Brotherhood, luxury untold.